Right friends, welcome back to News Analysis and Features. This is the 45th week from 2nd to 8th November, and the issue which we are going to discuss for today's news analysis is can Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, popularly known as UDAY, which was unveiled by the central government recently, can this save loss-making electricity utilities? We are going to discuss in detail what are the problems faced by these distribution companies and whether this can take electricity companies out of the losses and whether it will lead to improvement in efficiency of power distribution companies. We are going to deliberate in detail. Right friends, before going into this, let us have an oversight of exactly how the electric power is distributed from generation right up to your house. Here in electric power, there are three wings primarily. The first and the foremost wing is generation, that is power generation. So, the power is generated in several ways. One such is coal-based power plants. Please look into this picture. Coal-based power plants basically use thermal energy to produce electric power. Then hydel power, this is taking into the advantage of having head difference. Electricity is generated by the use of water, so this is hydel energy. Next one is nuclear energy. Then the fourth one is solar energy. Fifth one is wind energy. So, these are all various ways of generating electricity, and this is basically generation of power, right. Once the power is generated, normally power is generated at far off places, and most of the consumption may be situated in cities or industrial clusters. Industrial clusters of Maharashtra, Gujarat, major cities like Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Chennai, they consume more power, but power is generated at far off places and the power is carried by high tension wires from the place where it is generated right up to the substation, which is situated nearer to the place of consumption. That means the power which is generated at far off places will be carried through high tension transmission lines, and the power is transmitted from one place to other place with high voltage. Why high voltage is used? Because to reduce the cost of copper for transferring power from one place to other place, it is transmitted through high voltage. They are popularly known as 132 kV, 220 kV, 400 kV power lines. And please look into this picture. All of you are well aware about these transmission lines. These are examples of transmission lines, and this is the second step. That means first one is generation, second one is transmission, and the third and the last one is distribution. That means the power from substation right up to your house. Substation is basically used to reduce the voltage, because I have already told you in transmission over longer distances, power is transmitted at high voltage, and at substations the voltage is stepped down. That means voltage will be reduced, and from substation onwards right up to your house, right up to your office, right up to your industry, this distribution is basically power distribution. This is done by power distribution companies popularly known as DISCOMs, right. So, power generation, power transmission with high voltage, third one is power distribution. So, power distribution is basically from electrical substation right up to the industry, right up to the house, right up to the office. So, this is basically power distribution, and this is done by power distribution companies. But all is not well with power distribution companies in the country. They are maintained by various state governments, and because of various reasons, these power distribution companies are in problems. And look at the problems or the present scenario of DISCOMs across the country. First one is accumulated losses of approximately 3.8 lakh crores of rupees. Their losses, if you put down the entire Indian distribution of various states across the country, the total losses comes to rupees 3.8 lakh crores of rupees, and accumulated debt of all the distribution companies put together in the country is 4.3 lakh crores of rupees. That means the total debt of the power distribution companies today stands at 4.3 lakh crores of rupees. Then if you look at aggregate technical and commercial losses, they stand at 22%. There is a loss of 22% in distribution, which is very high. The ideal should be somewhere around 10 to 15%. The fourth one is because of losses. The distribution companies are not able to supply reliable power, especially in rural areas, and their finances are overstretched. They are not able to maintain proper finances. That's why they are not able to supply reliable power to the rural areas especially. Look at the next point, no metering in rural areas, in several houses, and for several agricultural pump sets, metering will not be there. And if at all meter is there, that meter will be defective, and pilferage is very common. People will tie down two wires from the overhead lines and will steal the power. That is very common in rural areas. And the last point, but most important point, is the populist measures undertaken by various state governments, like free or subsidized electricity for agriculture and subsidized power supply for below poverty line households. Like this, several populist measures are given by the state governments from time to time, and that is another reason why these DISCOMs are into losses. Overall, if you see, the finances are not in good stead because of the reason state governments are not taking power distribution seriously, because lot of populist measures are given from time to time, right? So this is at present scenario of DISCOMs across the country. And if you look at the debt of various DISCOMs, I have taken 4 states. Rajasthan has accumulated debt of 73,000 crores of rupees, Tamil Nadu 66,000, that is power distribution companies of Tamil Nadu put together are having loans of 66,000 crores of rupees. Uttar Pradesh 53,000 crores, Haryana, small state like Haryana, has got 27,000 crores of loans to banks and financial institutions. So this is the present state of affair. And the reasons for failure of DISCOMs is, we have already deliberated in the present scenario, populist decisions like free power, subsidized power, resulting in lot of wastage of power. When the power is given free of cost, wastage is bound to happen, especially in agriculture sector. Second one is no metering, faulty metering, pilferage of power, that is common at several places in rural areas. The third one is operational inefficiencies and financial indiscipline. Operational inefficiencies means overaged transformers is one of the reason for this operational inefficiency. So these put together is the main reason for this distribution companies going into red or going into losses. And in the year 2002 and 2011, government attempted to bring these distribution companies out of the losses, but they were not successful. Now government came up with Ujjwal DISCOM Assurance Yojana, that is UDAY, with the 4-pronged strategy. The 4-pronged strategy is reduction in interest cost of DISCOMs, because DISCOMs are already into losses, already into loans. reducing their interest cost. They have borrowed at present at interest of 12 to 15% and government will reduce their interest burden. Second one is enforcing financial discipline through alignment with the state finances. Part of this debt will be taken over by state government so as to inculcate a sense of discipline. That is the second point. Third one is improving operational efficiencies of distribution companies. Fourth one is reduction of cost of power. The central government came up with this program now. It is somewhat a sort of a carrot and stick policy. State governments, please keep your house in order. We will give you several benefits. The central government version is, please set right your house in order. We will give you several benefits. Otherwise, you will not come out of this mess. That is the message given by central government. And let us look at the various measures announced by the central government. The first one is for reducing the interest cost of discoms as well as enforcing financial discipline. The central government stated state governments should take over 75% of the discom debt. We have already deliberated discoms having loans of 4.3 lakh crores. Now, state governments should take over 75% of this debt in 2 years, 50% this year, 25% next year. For these 2 years, Government of India will not include this debt in the calculation of fiscal deficit. And for the debt taken over by state governments, states can issue non-SLR bonds in the market or directly to the banks or financial institutions. Non-SLR bonds will be issued by state government directly, and for the discoms debt not taken over by the state government, that shall be converted by banks or financial institutions into loans or bonds with a low interest rate of base rate plus 0.1%. Right? So 75% will be taken over by state government, and for remaining 25% debt held by discoms, interest rate will be reduced, which will have base rate plus 0.1%. And other points are, in future if losses occur for discoms, in a progressive way, state government will take over those losses, increasing progressively. By the year 2020-21, state governments will take over 50% of the losses incurred by discoms. And states following Uday scheme will be given additional priority funding under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana and other schemes like IPDS, PSDF. PSDF is Power Sector Development Fund, and for these additional funding will be given by central government. And if states are not meeting the guidelines, then they will be liable to forfeit their claims under these programs. That means, keep the house in order, we will help you. Otherwise, we will not support you. That means it is carrot and stick policy, and this is announced by central government recently. The other aspects are improving operational efficiency of discoms. One is financial discipline. Financial discipline will not bring them out of red. What is required is some operational improvements are also required. One such thing is compulsory smart metering, upgradation of transformers, old transformers are to be replaced, upgradation of meters, energy efficient measures like LED bulbs, agricultural pump sets, eliminating pilferage and desisting from populist measures like free power, etc. So, these are the things to improve operational efficiency of discoms. Not only that, for reducing the cost of power, central government promised increased supply of cheaper domestic coal, rationalization of coal linkage, coal price rationalization based on gross calorific value, and faster completion of transmission links and supply of washed coal. These are the measures central government contemplated to bring these distribution companies out of red. And let us see whether these measures will bring discoms out of the problems or not, and The final word is they are possible to some extent, basically restructuring of finances, future financial discipline. This is possible to ensure to some extent if states have willpower, but more than this, lot more willpower is required to improve operational efficiency like smart metering, preventing pilferage, improving the efficiency of transformers by replacing the older ones, desisting from populist measures like free power. So these are the things which require lot more willpower from state government perspective, and the moot question is whether the states are ready to stem the rot or not. But from central government perspective, it is a well designed, well devised scheme to bring distribution companies out of losses. All depends on state governments, and a paradigm shift is required to desist from populist measures by the state governments. And only time can say whether the state governments will be successful in this or not. Lot more willpower is required to make this successful, especially operational efficiency of power distribution companies. Friends, with this let us conclude this week's news analysis and features. Have a nice day. Thank you.